The time is 5:30 p.m. Today is Monday, August 31st. This is a special session of the City Council meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Since there is no invocation listed on the agenda, we will start the meeting directly. So item number 2 is to conduct the second public hearing on the ordinance disannexing 566.58 acres of land from an area located north and south of FM 1508 Airport Road in the city of Paris, Lamar County, Texas. So the public hearing is now open. If anyone wants to speak for or against, they're more than welcome to come forward, write their name and address for the record. If there is no one wanting to speak for and against, the public hearing is now closed. We move to, this is a non-action, this was a non-action item this time, correct?
Correct.
This is the second one. Item number 3 is third and final reading. Discuss and act on an ordinance of the City of Paris, Texas, granting to Atmos Energy Corporation, a Texas and Virginia corporation, its successors, and assignees, a franchise to construct, maintain, and operate pipelines and equipment in the City of Paris, Lamar County, Texas, for the transportation, delivery, sale, and distribution of gas in and out of and through said city for all purposes, providing for the payment of a fee or charge for the use of public right-of-ways, and providing that such fees shall be in lieu of other fees and charges, except ad valorem taxes, providing for a term and effective date, providing for written acceptance of the franchise, providing for a term and effective date, providing for a written acceptance of the franchise, providing that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public, providing for severability, and ordaining other provisions related to the subject matter hereof. Mr. Godwin, you want to say anything about it?
No, sir. This is just a third hearing that we're required by our charter. In this case, to have 3 hearings. No action is required at this point.
Okay.
Oh, this is the actual adoption. I'm sorry.
This is the adoption.
This is the night to adopt it. Yes.
Is it open to the public to speak?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
you
if
got
any-
speakers, sure.
Yeah, if there's anyone who wants to speak for or against, they're more than welcome to come forward. Write their name and address for the record. If there's nobody wanting to speak for and against, the public hearing is now closed. I need a motion on this item.
So moved.
To approve?
Approve, yeah.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 is receive presentations from engineering firms on available inspection services for the bond infrastructure projects. Discuss and act. Mr. Godwin, first presenter, and then...
Thank you, Mayor. Real quickly, we have 4 firms that responded to the request for qualifications proposals. I know 3 are here tonight. I've not seen anyone yet from Building Code Consulting. He is here. I'm sorry. So we do have all 4 firms here. We will have them present one at a time, and then we'll ask those who are not presenting to go to the conference room down the hall, so that there's no advantage to hearing what the other folks say before a presentation is made. The first presentation will be made by KSA, followed by Lochner, then BCCS, and then Bureau Veritas. So folks from KSA are right there. And then, Gene, if you would show those folks where to go, and you don't have to sit in the conference room, but if you can loiter around outside or out in the hallway, but appreciate that.
Kent, why is there sound today? My phone and beeper are far away from this. Nobody else has a beeper. Still my fault. Okay. Can everybody move their phones away if they have close to the mic? Okay. All right. KSA is on.
Mayor and council, thank you for the opportunity to come and share our experiences and our capabilities to provide these construction inspection services for your bond program. For introductory purposes, my name is Mike Burns. I'm a vice president with KSA out of Longview, Texas. I've got Rick Leppert here with us. He's one of our lead inspectors and listed on your, and what you have in front of you is your placemat that will kind
Speak
of,
closer to the mic, please.
is it not, can you not hear me?
Yeah, people, I can hear you, but people in the back generally have a problem.
Well, I'd like for everybody to be able to hear me, so there it is.
And before you start, how long is your presentation?
10 minutes, I think, and in a few, well, I understand 10 minutes, John, and then a few minutes for Q&A at the
That's fine,
end. So it's going to be very, very, very brief presentation. Just for informational purposes, you'll see on there, step one, just for information on KSA, if you're not familiar with us, we are a general civil municipal engineering firm located in Longview, but we have 9 offices around the state and in Texas and in Louisiana. We've been in business since 1978, currently have about 170 employees in all our 9 offices, and we have a broad range of services. We do civil engineering, electrical, mechanical, architectural, planning, so we have a broad range of services we bring to municipalities around the state of Texas. KSA has been named a top 500 firm in the Engineering News Record, which is kind of the Fortune 500 of the engineering architectural world, so we're very proud of that designation of being one of the top 500 firms in the nation. Have received awards as top company to work for, so just as general, that's who we are. But more specifically, what you need to know about construction inspection is why I have Rick here tonight with us, is that this is what we do. We are a municipal engineering firm that also provides construction management and construction inspection services for the municipal market, water, sewer, streets, and drainage, just the type of projects that you have listed on your RFQ. KSA has 15 full-time construction inspectors. Now, point of order, we call our inspectors, for legal reasons, project representatives, but generally they are construction inspectors on the project, representing the city or the county or whoever we're working for on behalf of what we're doing for that municipality, who we're working for. So we bring 15 full-time construction inspectors with an average experience of 20 years out of those 15 guys. So we bring experience to the table for your projects. You'll see on your placemat Rick as the lead inspector for the project, lead guy, because one thing I think what he brings to the table is his locality. He lives in Mount Vernon, just down the street. He's close by. He can be here to respond to your projects, to where they are at any point in the construction project. He can be close by. You can also see on the list a lot of senior project representatives / construction inspectors that we have at KSA and the years of experience that they bring. That's important, that you hire somebody or understand that somebody's out there with those years of experience watching over that construction work and know what goes on, what goes in the ground, how it goes in, how you maintain that quality project during that process. So you can see the names of guys that we have in-house that are available to work in Paris on an as-needed basis, depending on how much work y'all may have going on at the time during that bond program. We do have local experience. We actually have been working for the city of Paris as part of developing the comprehensive plan 2 or 3 years ago. We were part of this process of where this project first got started. We've also worked out at Paris Cox Field for 3 or 4 or 5 projects over 10 or 15 years that we've been working with the aviation department at TxDOT, doing airport work for the city of Paris. So we bring a role of construction. KSA's role out here will be to respond to your projects. We'll be your eyes during the construction project to make sure you get a quality project. We have listed here just the day-to-day things. We will observe and communicate. That has to happen. We communicate with your contractor, whoever's doing the construction work. We work and communicate with your city staff, but we also communicate day-to-day with the citizens and the people that are impacted by this work. And these guys are experienced enough. They know the process and they know what they need to do on a day-to-day basis. They will be your advocate for you on that construction project to make sure you get a quality project. The difference that KSA brings as opposed to the other ones is that level of experience and that knowledge and that know-how working with contractors, knowing what goes in a sewer project, how you get that quality project, how you meet the requirements of that project. They will be listening and working with your engineer and your construction manager to do what they need done, but they will also be watching out for your benefit as well. With their experience, they can control costs just by knowing what goes in ahead of time. They can kind of watch what comes up and maybe get ahead of some of the issues that may come up that may cause change orders and cost to the project. They do that for us all the time. One of my things I tell my clients when I work is that these guys keep us out of the courthouse. They do their diligent work out in the field to keep us out of litigation with contractors and other people, and they do a very good job of doing that for us. We'll be your ambassadors. We'll be proactive, working on your behalf for the city with our experience and capabilities that we bring. And really, that's it. We bring the inspectors to the table that y'all will need to watch over this project and do it a good job. Get your quality that you need on the project. Do anybody have any questions?
Sure. I'll start. What do you know about the Paris project? What do you know, what has been done so far?
About the which project?
About what the Paris project is, the one that you want
I have,
to be the
we
inspector?
were not provided any information on the current project that is gonna be, I understand that it's being designed by AECom and that they will provide our people the plans and specs for that particular project, whatever it might be in the city. And that we'll have to abide and construct it according to those plans and specs. That's our responsibility to make sure that is constructed in general conformance with those plans and specifications, whoever the designer was on that project.
What is your understanding about the project, that part of the project that has been done?
I have no knowledge of, you're talking about an existing project?
The one that has been completed where all of this issue started?
Was it talking about the
The earlier phases of this, but we've not specifically provided any information to any of the vendors. We just wanted to, base it on their merits and experience, so.
Okay, all right. Now, one of your comments, we like to work with your engineer. Right now, we do not have a city engineer. Which engineer are you talking about? Which engineer are you going to?
It would be your designer, whoever, AECom, I believe, is your general engineering consultant for the bond program, and I believe he's got some sub-consultants that are developing the plans and the specifications for those improvement projects. That's the guy that we'll probably be working under to make sure that the project gets constructed according to those plans and those specifications. That's our responsibility.
Now, KSA did the initial, when we first started this bronze project, KSA did the initial engineering evaluation of what, there were some, there was work done by you. I
KSA.
don't mean to you, but your company.
No, not me personally,
Yeah.
but KSA was involved in the comprehensive plan that kind of put these projects together to go
Yes.
forward to the construction.
When we went through those plans, we found that there were places which were listed as high priority, which did not end up being a high priority. How do you explain that? Why should you be hired again when we have had issues with you before?
Oh, I'm sorry, but what I understand is that we went through a public hearing process for all those projects, and we were using staff input and city.
I understand it was
People
done all
to-
legally,
would
I'm
tell
not
us.
saying that. I'm just concerned about the fact that when some of the information provided by your company was not to the exact liking of what the city Public Works Department told us, how does one explain that? Did you
Well-
work with did you talk to the Public Works people and find out that where are the city problems, and did you address it at that time, or did you
During
just
the
do it your
plan
own
2
way?
years ago, Mayor and I don't know the specifics about what transpired with that plan or what resulted in the priority placing of those projects. I know we went through a very diligent planning process of trying to develop the needs for the infrastructure for the city and trying to prioritize that based on your needs. It may have been funding, it may have been number of services that may have been impacted. I don't know what the vetting process, but I was not personally involved in it. I just know the plan was completed and submitted. And I
Thank you.
understand it was approved at that time, but things may have changed after those approvals.
The concern was that I think KSA did not communicate as much with our Public Works Department, and what Public Works Department came up was a different sequence of priorities compared, based on how they were working compared to you people. And that was a concern that I had, that why you had the opportunity at that time to work with our Public Works Department and you didn't.
Again, Mayor, I am
Okay, thank you.
not
That's fine.
aware of those issues.
All right. Ms. Lancaster?
I don't have any questions at this time.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have no questions. Appreciate your presentation
you.
and time.
Mr. Pilata?
I have no question.
Mr. Clifford?
A couple of questions.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised you aren't aware of the main reason you were called here, which was some work that's already been done there's been some serious questions raised about it. Part of what you would be doing would be retrospectively inspecting some work to see whether it was done to standards or not.
Yes.
And is that something you would be willing to do? Was that something described to you that would be part of the contract?
No, I came up and met with John a month ago, maybe longer.
He didn't mention to you that we've got these major problems?
He mentioned he's having some issues with the quality of the construction project. And that's when he mentioned, he said, I think we need another set of eyes on these projects. So that
Because we'd want you moving forward, but also want you looking backwards to make sure that things were done the way they should have been done.
Okay, I have no knowledge of looking back, but yes, we would do whatever the city would require for our inspectors. Now, this is in construction inspection services. All we're involved in is the quality of the project. That's what our guys would be responsible for, to make sure that they end up according with a quality project. The
Would they be
paving,
able to look at the work that's already been done and tell us whether or not it was done to specs? Yes.
And we haven't even seen the specs, so we'd have to see the specs, see the requirements, and look at the quality of the project, and that's what these guys bring, is that level of experience to be able to look at that project and know what the result was.
All right, thank you.
Can you be more specific as far as?
Well, the concrete work started off, drew the attention to it. The 4-month-old concrete's cracking to pieces. And it brought my attention to it back then, and I've been looking into it. And I know nothing about anything other than what I can see. But there's cracks all over it, and that's what brought this thing to light, is that there might be a problem. I mean,
Well,
so
those
that's
are-
just the concrete, but there's a lot more to the project than just the concrete.
Was this utility replacement work, any concrete's laid over it,
Curbs and driveways.
but there was utility replacement?
Yes.
Which is a result of, in order to get good paving on top of utility replacement, you gotta do the proper work underneath and get your compaction and your densities of your backfill all the way up, so that there's no
Yeah,
settlement.
And that's what you would need to be testing,
That's
to
what
see
we'd have
whether
to
or not that was done appropriately. And if it was not done appropriately, make your recommendations to us.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Frierson?
No questions. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Pickle?
I would just like some clarification that doesn't have anything to do with y'all. But, John, maybe you could sort of clarify what the bid process was, or what information everybody was given, so that
Sure.
we're beating up on these guys and they don't know something, but nobody else is gonna get beaten up on because we've already got that in.
Yeah, the request for qualifications, RFQ process was just a very generic, the city has a $35 million utility project ongoing, and we need outside construction inspections. So give us your qualifications and be prepared to meet with the city council. So that was basically it. And it took about 2 pages to say that, but we just, again, when you're hiring an engineering firm, and 2 of these are engineering firms, or basically engineering firms. An RFQ, unlike a bid, of course, you're looking for qualifications. What qualifies them to do the job? Then once you select someone or rank someone as your number 1 choice, then you negotiate with them for specific scope and for specific prices.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you, council.
Okay,
How do I do that?
go to settings. So,
Almost. Yeah.
now you remember when you have to turn it off, otherwise you won't be able to download it.
Oh,
So
okay.
turn it off afterwards.
Okay, now what, but I'm gonna lose my Wi-Fi, right? Well, that stinks. I don't wanna do that. Can't watch football. Okay.
Didn't tell you, but I stole your papers. But I didn't have that one. Okay. Well, it's all right. I don't need, I've already downloaded what I needed to download. So thank you. All right. Which one of you is presenting?
I am.
Come on, come along.
John, we can control the PowerPoint through the keyboard,
Yes,
is that correct?
yes, the arrow keys.
All right. You ready, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, council members.
How long is your presentation?
Oh, depends on how fast I go.
Well,
10 or
how
12
fast are
minutes.
you going to
10
go?
or 12 minutes, something like
Okay,
that. Is
good
that
enough.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. My name is Tim White. I'm with Lochner. I've got a couple guys here with me. Well, first of all, before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. 30-some years with TxDOT, retired about 2.5 years ago. That's all I did was construction. Ended in Austin, director of construction for the Austin district. Went to work for Lochner about 2.5 years ago. If it has anything to do with construction in Texas and Lochner's involved, that's my territory. So I've got the entire state. Got a couple guys with me, Walter Smith. Walter's also an ex-TxDOT person, 30 years in the Tyler district. Had the same job that I had in Austin, director of construction. So if it was construction in Tyler, it went through Walter. And then Corey. Corey is our project engineer for your project. Corey's out of the Tyler office, and he'll be kind of handling day-to-day stuff. So you want to hit the next slide? So we just kind of wanted to walk through the approach, how Lochner looks at construction engineering, construction management, whatever you want to call it. As a project manager, ultimately the buck stops with me. My job is to make sure that the city is happy with what we're doing, that we're fulfilling our scope, that you're getting the resources you need, you're not getting resources you don't need. That's my job. Problem shooting, that type of thing, and supporting Corey in this effort. It's kind of a senior level management commitment from Lochner to the city. I'm an officer and the president, I'm a vice president, or officer in the firm rather, I'm a vice president. So there's no layers of approval or anything else for what we need. I've got all the authority I need to make decisions in Texas. We want to talk about safety a little bit, risk management. Anytime you go into a construction project, those are two things that come up. Safety is number one with Lochner. We do a lot of high-profile work, a lot of TxDOT work, a lot of very high-profile, high-traffic corridors, so we're always concentrating on safety. Same thing with risk management, making sure that the city gets what they pay for in their program. So, excuse me, I think I caught a cold last night. Continuing on, the package, one of the first things we do is we'd want to sit down, we want to look at that package in detail, make sure we know everything that's in it. We've done some cursory review preparing for this, but there's a lot more information in there we need to make sure we fully understand. Meeting with the city council, meeting with city staff would probably be the next thing we would like to do. Just sit down, have a discussion, make sure we understand your expectations, city staff expectations, exactly what our scope would be. We think that's very important, getting off on the right foot. After that, probably meet with the contractor. Our understanding is it's one contractor that has the whole package, probably a lot of different subs though, so there's going to be some coordination. We want to talk to him about your expectations, our expectations, how the program's going to work, how the project's going to go on. Be talking about payment requests, testing, materials that he might be using, those type of issues. Next thing after that, we'll look at the contractor's schedule. We'll expect him to give us, it doesn't have to be a real fancy schedule, but it needs to be an informative schedule. It needs to show the resources he's got, where he plans to attack the different modes of operation. Is he going to be working in multiple places at once? We have the feeling he probably will be, and just coordinate all that. We'll use his schedule in our staffing predictions as far as how many people we need, what skill sets we need, how many people need to come in, mobilize, how many people can go away later. We use a computer software program, we call it LockData, Lochner, LockData. It's pretty sophisticated. We use it on all of our TxDOT projects, but it was really developed for projects with our cities and our counties, and then we morphed it into TxDOT. It's all web-based, it's real-time. One of the important things, as you see changes on a construction project, you have plan revisions coming from the designers, that type of thing. We load all that in the back office, and our inspectors have at their fingertips, through their iPad, through their laptop, whatever, they have the most up-to-date information available. So it cuts down on mistakes and makes sure everybody's on the same page. We can customize that to generate reports, to generate tests, to generate project schedules, reviews, correspondence, anything the city would like to see. It's highly customizable. It's not me, I don't do that, but we have computer people like Corey and other people in the box that do that. One of the requirements in my job is that we can audit what we do. We're used to that. We survive TxDOT audits, we survive FHWA audits. We audit ourselves. We want to make sure we're doing everything the way we're supposed to be doing it before the city would come in and audit us or whatever, if that's your desire. So that doesn't concern us at all. Corey? Going on with the project approach, we use a thing we call pre-activity meetings on a regular basis. Basically, that's a meeting before we start a new phase or maybe a traffic swap. The intent is to try to get everybody in the room all at once. Let's talk about what we're doing before we get out there. We'd be notifying the contractor, we'd be notifying city staff if we had any issues out there on the project. Might be a failing test, might be the wrong material, might be contractor performance, those types of things. You would not have to wait for a regular briefing to get that. You'll get that whenever it happens, so you guys are completely in control of what's going on. Be working with the contractor and the city also on how we're going to pay them. I'm sure you all have a process set up. That's fine. We can change our operations to match that process. The main thing we want to make sure of is that we're paying the contractor for the work he's doing, but we're not paying him for work that he hasn't done yet. You get behind in construction when you do that. That's a bad place to be. So we want to make sure everything's audited, he's getting fully paid for what he's been doing. Corey, I guess at this point I'll let you take it over a little bit, talk about how you handle this thing on a day-to-day basis.
Good evening. My name's Corey Hogue. I'm a project engineer with Lochner. I've got 10 years experience doing this type of work across East Texas and Northeast Texas. So verifying compliance with specifications. Why would we do that? Well, we're going to do that. We're going to verify that the utility work is done and it's constructed to last. So I've listed a few topics here. These have to do with pipeline integrity. That's the key issue on this project. First and foremost, you'll see bedding and backfill material. We feel that proper bedding is crucial to the success of this project, both short-term and long-term. Much of the work is under roadway, and properly repairing the trench is critical. Our inspectors have experience to ensure that the roadways and driveways are repaired right. And we will verify the contractor is following the specifications and testing procedures so that the city will not have failing components that they have to address years later. The pipeline itself will be verified through hydrostatic testing, pressure testing, mandrel testing. All of these testing procedures are proven. They make sure that the pipeline meets TCEQ guidelines and requirements, and by passing these tests, the pipeline will be sound for years to come. I put this slide in the presentation to demonstrate the broadness of this project. On this slide, contract C is in blue, contract D is in green, and contract E is in red. This is going to expose a lot of the city to construction. So proper planning is required. And also, this slide's included, there's 14 projects across the city with numerous streets and neighborhoods that are going to be impacted, and communication is the key. As Tim described earlier, we have a proven process for communicating with the city and the contractor. We will ensure water outages, connections are all coordinated with the city, and the notifications are made to the public. And obviously, you have approximately 17 miles of pipeline, we're going to encounter conflicts, unknown, and so our staff is capable of taking those conflicts, addressing them head-on, and we have the capabilities of making changes as needed. We have designers and things as needed. We're capable of making changes. And last, our inspectors are most ex-TxDOT employees, and they're familiar with working with the public and making information available to the public, and that's why I believe this is going to be a success. With that said, I'll turn it back over to Tim, and he can close this.
Thanks, Corey. The map, we know you guys know what the map looks like. I didn't know what the map looked like, so that was helping me kind of figure out what kind of an impact it is. This is a big job for the city of Paris. I mean, it's $27 million, right? And you're going to be touching a lot of different citizens, business owners, homeowners, people driving through your town, that type of thing. That's what kind of piqued our interest a little bit. You know, being TxDOT, I get questions a lot of time about, well, what do you know about utilities? You know, stuff like that. You guys just build roads, right? Well, no, we really didn't. I run into the same problem that the city runs into. Every time I dug a hole, I'd find a utility, right? We had to figure out who it was, we had to figure out what it was, and we had to get it moved. So we're kind of used to that. We have people on staff that's all they do for me on my other assignments is chase utilities. So we're used to doing utilities. I think the thing that maybe we bring that maybe some of our competitors don't, we're used to doing roadway. We're used to dealing with traffic. We're used to dealing with public complaints. We're used to dealing with grandma when the driveway doesn't line up. It's not the way that it was before. And we kind of pride ourselves on that. We think we're very good at it. And we think that's important to you guys. So why us? Construction engineering, construction management in Texas. It's been done a lot on the city side and out on the county side. The state's just now getting into it. But Lochner's been doing this stuff for a long time. Lochner as a firm's been doing it for better than 40 years. I've been doing it with Lochner for 2.5, but I've been doing it in my career all my life. Construction is what I do. As Corey mentioned, we got a deep pool of staff to draw from. We got designers. We designed your water tower about 12 years ago for you. We weren't known as Lochner back then, but that was still our design. We've got the ability to do whatever this project needs done. If you look over on the right-hand side of that slide, you'll see a list of names there. Those are my construction staff right now that I have on board. The thing that I think is interesting about that list is look at the years behind their names. Those people have a lot of experience just like I do. We can be efficient. We're used to moving people in and out. We want the right resources there to watch the work adequately, but we don't want to have 10 people out there on your project that you're paying for if you only need 2 or if you only need 4. So we move people in and out to fill those needs. Record keeping is something we're very strong at. I don't know how the city's program works right now. I think maybe you're looking for us to help you with that a little bit. I keep records on $150, $200 million TxDOT projects right now. And those same resources, those same people that are used to keeping records in that volume, will be keeping the records for you, for your project also. So we're very good at that. We can show you at any given time exactly what's going on. We can show you what's been placed. We can show you what passed, what failed, and we can show you what you paid for it. So with that, I think, Mayor, I'll kind of shut up and see if you all have any questions.
Thank you, Tim. Mark, is that, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Corey, sorry. Okay. My first question to you, did any 3 of you see any of the recordings of the council, video recordings of the council meetings that we have had before? Or did any of you read the minutes of our meetings from before?
We did watch I forget the date.
The 10th, was it August 10th?
The meeting where you decided you wanted to talk to 4 firms. We saw that one.
Okay. My next question to you is, before you said you worked for TxDOT, before you started working for Lochner, how many projects did you do with Lochner?
I've got 12 active construction projects right now. In your handout, there's a list of 9 of those. Some are really big, some aren't so big. One in San Antonio on 35, that's 85 million. One on I-10 over in Orange, that's about 85 million. Got a cluster of work in Fort Worth, some out in West Texas, some in Waco. So we're scattered across the state pretty good. We've always had a presence in East Texas, and we want to continue that presence.
That was not my question. My question was when you were working for TxDOT.
Oh, how many contracts did I do with TxDOT?
No, when you were working, you said you were previously employed by TxDOT, correct?
Yes, sir.
When you were working with TxDOT, did they hire Lochner to do any of their engineering work?
No, Lochner was not doing the construction inspection type work that I needed when I was with TxDOT. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Mayor, I misunderstood.
Okay. Now, the third question that I have, that you said that you have web access that others in your company can see it. Can the residents in the community access that website and see what is going on? Is it open to residents in the community, or is that a private web access only for your employees?
The web system I was talking about is where we keep our records, so no, we don't, as a normal process, give access to the public for that for a lot of reasons. We do give access to our owners, so every TxDOT district that I'm working in right now, they have access to that so they can see all our records. We can do the same thing with the city.
So it's not for the public to see?
Not for the public, but if that's a desire to put a website out there for the public to disseminate information and that type of thing, we're certainly capable of doing that.
Okay. While you were working for TxDOT, I'm sure there were some quality control processes that you did. At that time, did you stop any projects for material problems or inadequate kind of work or improper work, or?
On a regular basis.
Okay. And what was the chief problem most of the time? Why would you stop a project?
It depends, Mayor, on where the project was. A lot of times it was non-performance on my contractor's part. In other words, we'd be out in the middle of the interstate and they didn't have the game together. So we're going to take them off the interstate. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to quit. We're going to try it again. A lot of times it was material problems where they'd bring in material that didn't pass. It might have been the base, it might have been the hot mix, might have been the concrete, whatever. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't mean that it's not usable, but that's a flag that we need to go in and we need to check and see, okay, is it really important? Is it close enough? Those types of decisions. So yeah, I've stopped them for all those reasons.
The last question that I have, your presentation is primarily directed towards some of the issues that we were having. And is your presentation geared that way because you saw the video recording?
No, sir. No, sir, it's not. In fact, I don't know what problems you were having.
Okay.
What I know is what I saw on the map, and you got a lot of utility lines, a lot of them under roadways. I'm assuming you're going through a lot of driveways. You're probably boring some of them, so I mean you're probably cutting through. So that's what my presentation was based on. I know how to put the utilities in the ground, but I also know how to restore everything that you had so it looks good when you get through.
Ms. Lancaster, thank you for the answers.
You're welcome.
I'm looking at the map, and you have the green and the red and the purple. Is it your understanding that is only the scope that you're looking at?
Corey,
yes.
you want to address that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're not looking at some previous work that was done?
That's correct. I use CivCast to download Project 4 and look through the plans and specs. In that, there's a scope that addresses this, which I believe that's what was the,
So anything previously done is not to be looked at by you?
We're certainly capable of doing that. What I would like, if you all select us for this project, what I want to be is I want to be an extension of your staff. I want to give you the resources that you need. If you already have adequate resources to do part of it, that's fine with me. I don't have to do it all. But if you need us to come in with a horsepower, that's what we want to do. And if that means the stuff on the map, and if it means other stuff that might be going on, that's fine. We're fine with doing that.
Because I feel there are some things that have been done that need to be looked at.
Okay, we can certainly do that.
Okay.
Mr. Jenkins?
Okay, did you say you where's Lochner located at?
We've got 3 offices in Texas, one in Dallas, one in Tyler, one in Austin. I'm in the one in Austin.
You in Austin, right?
Yes.
You and Walter, y'all come from the same place?
Walter's in Dallas, Corey's in Tyler.
Y'all doing any work in Austin right now? Y'all doing any work in Austin right now?
We do have a little bit. We're competing for some more. We're competing for a big job on 35 through Austin. Austin's where I spent the last 15 years of my career with TxDOT, right? So it'd be really nice to get some work back home with the guys, that type of thing. So we're focusing on that. But again, I've got all of Texas. So any place that Lochner's doing construction, it doesn't matter what kind it is, that falls under my umbrella. I put a lot of miles on my pickup.
I do want to mention, we do have US 82 in Bowie County that is nearing completion. We have inspectors on that project. So becoming available, and I mean, all of our staff can move from place to place, but we do have some kind of earmarked for moving down this way.
And I've got inspection staff in the Tyler office too. So it's not like they have to come from Austin, or they have to come from El Paso or something like that.
Mr. Plata?
No questions.
Dr. Clifford?
What would your general feelings be on contract specifications? How stringent are you? Do you think they need to be followed? Do you think you can make exceptions? What's your opinion on that?
That's a very good question. My job at TxDOT was to interpret the specs and make those very decisions. So my area offices, I don't know if y'all are familiar with how TxDOT's formed or not, but most districts have area offices. We've got an area engineer, he's kind of responsible for his own area, for his own inspectors. As director of construction, they all answer to me. So I would have some guys that say, it's in the book, that means there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, there's no gray area. I don't believe that. I think there is gray area. That's why I have an engineering license. That's why I went to school. That's what I've learned in the last 30 years, is determine, okay, this is really important. We're not giving on this. Or that gradation on the backfill material's out 1%. Does it really make any difference?
I mean, for instance, if you had a 2-block stretch of Paris that had the sewer and the water line replaced, how many impaction, would you think 4 impaction tests over the entire project would be adequate?
Over 2 blocks?
2 entire blocks, yeah.
It would depend on the material. When you say impaction test, you're talking the density?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would depend on the material. For one, just to give you a rough idea, you're going to have densities in your dirt if that's what the specifications are calling for, right? Backfill normally doesn't have density. Normally you just roll it in there until it's good. Your base material definitely has densities, or it should. Your hot mix material, or whatever you're putting on top for your surface, has densities. On an average for 2 blocks, if the material is consistent, 4 might be enough.
Okay.
If the material varies all over, then you really need to test that, each one of those different types of material, and see what you're dealing with. You can't just assume, well, this one's good enough, even though this doesn't look the same. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Frierson?
I don't have any questions. I'm just glad to hear you say that there's a real-world aspect to this.
Well, thank you.
Just reading on a piece of paper.
Mr. Pickle?
No questions.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for the answers and your presentation.
All right, thank you, folks.
The next firm is Building Code Consulting Services. Jerry Martin, who's the general manager, and Jerry is here somewhere.
That's it?
I don't think any others have a PowerPoint, so. Thank you. Jerry? Yes, sir. You're up. Thank you. This is Jerry Martin from BCCS.
Basically, I guess you'll have questions, but just a little background on the company. We're We've been in business since about 1980. Started off as an structural engineering firm. The inspection and plan review services kind of evolved into a much bigger portion than the engineering, and we branched out, and basically BCCS is kind of, that's all we're doing at this time is plan review and inspection services. We work for various cities. We do special large projects. We just finished up the Nebraska furniture store. We've done major projects all over the state. We did work for Katrina in New Orleans. After the Katrina hurricane, we did all the inspections, many of the inspections down there for about a year. Corpus Christi, Oklahoma. We were the first company certified by the state of Texas, third-party company, certified by the state of Texas to do energy code in the state of Texas, reviews and inspections. The first company certified to do third-party work in the city of Fort Worth when they started allowing third-party work. So we've just kind of evolved from there. We've done work, major projects in Branson, Missouri. We're doing quite a few projects in the city of Houston area now, and in this area. So if there's anything specific, I think we sent some like a statement of qualifications to several here to be distributed. I have a couple of more if anybody's interested and didn't get one. So we have worked in the city of Paris before. We did plan reviews here. We did an addition to the college here several years ago, working with Harrison Harper. We did work for them here. We've done work for them on one of the military bases down in San Antonio. So we've done work throughout this area. So I'll open it up for questions if you got any.
Okay. How many employees do you have in your company?
How many employees?
Uh-huh.
We have.
Just a ballpark.
I'm sorry?
Just a ballpark.
Oh, a dozen, 15. We at one time had 60, but we've now, since the recession, we've done it backed off, and now we pick and choose the projects that we want to do. And we're doing a lot of work in Houston area now with some inspectors down there. We're doing a 500,000 square foot school project in Seguin, Texas now. We have inspectors full-time there. We do several cities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We do Kaufman. We've been doing Hillsborough. We've been doing them for 10 years, I guess. We've done quite a few other smaller cities around it. But that's our concentration now, is smaller cities and specific projects like the water project here. But we look at the larger projects and we kind of pick and choose where we want to go.
What is your position in the company?
What is the what?
What is your position in the
General
company?
manager. I've been with the company about 12 years and been general manager ever since then.
Okay. Now, the projects that you've put in your package look more like individual building projects like the W Hotel in...
We did the W Hotel in downtown Dallas. We've done several large, we did the International Terminal at DFW Airport, all reviews and inspections. We did all of Fort Worth ISD projects in a big bond election many years ago. Still do a lot of schools all over the state. We've done a big resort area in Bastrop. We've done a big resort area in Bayer County. We're doing several large hotels right now for the Woodbine Corporation in Houston. But again, we just go after a lot of specific projects.
Have you done projects like the city of Paris has with infrastructure for the city rather than individual buildings or hotels or things like that?
Well, we did one of the college projects here. It's been 4 or 5 years ago, I guess. We did plan reviews directly for the city of Paris when they were needing outside help. We did that for them for a while.
And as a price, not your price, but what is the largest, what was the cost of the largest project that you have ever undertaken?
Well,
not what you got paid, but
the DFW Airport was $1 billion project. We were on a cost-plus deal for about 4 or 5 years. We had 6 or 8 inspectors out there full-time, all cost-plus. We did a Branson redevelopment, Branson, Missouri redevelopment. Our contract was about $1 million. We did the recovery area for this Hurricane Katrina. Actually worked under a FEMA contract. That contract, we had probably a dozen inspectors down there full-time for about a year. City of Corpus Christi, the same thing. Stillwater, Oklahoma, same thing. So,
Thank you very much.
okay?
Ms. Lancaster?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Is that it? All right, thank you very much.
We're not done with the rest of the council.
Oh, I'm
yet.
sorry. All right. Okay, yes, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
I don't have any questions for you, thank you.
Mr. Pilata?
Have you looked at the scope of the projects here in Paris?
Have we looked at the scope? We looked at what you sent out, and
How many inspectors do you think you,
well, according to your RFP or RFQ that you sent out, you assume one full-time inspector and possibly one part-time inspector. Again, we've got that, but when and where we would need the part-time, we don't know yet until somebody, the contractor or somebody has to say when we're gonna need him and for how long and that sort of thing. But based on the information we were provided, you wanted one full-time and possibly one part-time.
all right, thank you.
Just one question, would you be able to do an inspection on work that's already been done and?
Oh, yeah.
and
We have, we submitted two names, basically, because that's kind of what you asked for. We're not saying those will be the individuals that we're gonna use, but it all depends on when the job starts, how fast it starts, how much work is gonna be done, and we will put people in place. Both of the people we submitted have water line construction experience with cities. They're Master Code professionals, which means they have essentially every certification that the ICC requires or offers. But both of them have extensive water line construction inspection experience. But again, we don't know who we're going to finalize with until somebody tells us when you're going to start and I guess how fast the work will progress. Then we can kind of go from there.
Mr. Frierson?
No questions, thank you for your time.
And Mr. Pickle?
No questions.
Thank you so much for
All
coming.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the fourth firm is Bureau Veritas, and here they are.
Good evening, members of the council, mayor, city manager, and also Janice, city secretary. I am Lee
What about the
Swain.
city attorney? Left out.
I am Lee Swain, the business development manager for Bureau Veritas. I have worked with BV for 11 years. 2.5 of those years was spent right here in Paris, Texas. We completed many successful projects as a team: the new Paris High School, field house and stadium, dormitories and new science lab at Paris Junior College, 2 new hotels out on the Loop, and the addition to Paris Regional Medical Center. BV has a great history of working with the city of Paris. We're currently providing support to the city's in-house building inspection department. I firmly believe that BV is the best in the industry. Why are we the best? Because of our people. We are the most certified, knowledgeable, experienced, and caring. We take ownership of all projects and tasks we are assigned. We provide unsurpassed customer service, consistency, and communication with our clients. Our definition of customer service means always exceeding the client's expectations, because meeting them is just not good enough. We practice honesty, integrity, and transparency in all our business dealings. There will not be any hidden agendas or information. Also, Bureau Veritas is the only accredited third-party inspection company in the state of Texas. We realize how important this project is to the citizens of Paris, Texas, and the city of Paris, Texas. The success of this project will drive continued economic growth, both commercial and residential. That's why we work tirelessly to ensure the project is a success. Thank you for allowing Bureau Veritas the opportunity to compete for this project. I'd like to now introduce you to Ron Rimmer. He is our Public Works Special Projects Manager. Thank you again.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Ron Rimmer, Bureau Veritas. I'm the Public Works Special Projects Coordinator for Bureau Veritas. I started work with Bureau Veritas in 2007 as our Public Works Infrastructure Inspector over in the city of Crandall area for a little subdivision in Heartland, Texas, part of the ETJ of the city of Crandall. We did about three phases of utility inspections in that area, and then shortly after that, we moved over, did some work in the city of Farmersville, city of Hudson Oaks, and currently we're representing the city of Anna. We've done several projects for the city of Anna through CIP projects, subdivision work. We've been able to multitask with them as doing, most recently we did an 18-month project for a waterline utility project on Highway 455. And then during the process of that, we also did about three or four subdivision utility construction projects as well. We're happy to be here and look forward to answering any of your questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pickle?
No, sir.
Mr. Frierson?
No, thanks for your time.
Dr. Clifford?
No questions.
Mr. Pilata?
No questions.
Mr. Jenkins?
How many projects I have going on right now?
Currently, I have two projects still under construction in the city of Anna.
They're going on right now?
Yes, sir. Two of them are subdivisions. One of them is wrapping up. We're pretty much getting ready for final inspection on that, and the other one is we're at the paving stage right now.
Ms. Lancaster?
No questions. Thank you for coming.
I do have a question. Are you more involved with building inspections, or are you, like in the city of Anna, are you really involved in inspection of infrastructure like roads and sewer and water, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes, sir. I am primarily the inspector over the infrastructure and utility inspections.
And how many other cities have you done in the past besides, is that what you're doing in Anna?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how big of a project is that?
Excuse me?
How big of a project is that?
How big of one? One of them, the one we're currently finishing up is like 120 subdivision lots. The one
Price-wise, not your pricing, but how big of a city project is it?
Oh, dollar-wise? I don't recall exactly what those dollar amounts were. One of them, one of the projects that we're soon to wrap up was about $4 million.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else has any questions? No. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate your presentation. Now to the council, since this has been listed as discuss and act, my first question to all the council members is, are you satisfied with the presentations, or do you want the city manager to get some more engineering firms to come in? You want to interview some more people? Mr. Pickle?
I think I can make a decision based on the four we've seen.
Mr. Frierson?
Well, honestly, at this point, I'd kind of like to hear John's opinion to see what his opinions of the firms are, and kind of any relationships or reasons that we should give some consideration to one or the other.
Okay, we'll come back to you in just a second. Dr. Clifford? You want to interview more, or you satisfied with?
I'm not real excited about these firms, but you know, I'm all right with it.
So you want to proceed further with others interviews or not?
Mr. Godwin, would there be any others that would be, or these are the only ones that presented bids?
These are the only ones that submitted this last time. We sent out requests for about 20 firms, and these are the
So
only
there's
four
no
we
reason
heard
to
back
think
from, so.
we would get any more.
We might not.
Okay.
Mr. Pilata?
I probably go along with what Matt said. I probably would like to see if Mr. Godwin or maybe Mr. McDaniel or somebody have had dealings with some of these firms that we might make a better decision.
Mr. Jenkins?
I got something I got thinking of, so.
All right, Ms. Lancaster?
I think I'm ready to make a decision.
Okay, Mr. Godwin. Well, actually, you know, before you say it, let's ask Mr. McDaniel. so that he doesn't get totally committed by what you say.
Now, those were the 4 that submitted, amongst 20 of them that was invited to submit. You've got 2 candidates that are more, I think y'all seen that, are more building inspection services.
Name them so that.
In my opinion, than the infrastructure side.
And who are they?
Would be the VB and Jerry.
BCCS.
Yeah, was the 2 that was more into the building inspection side, I think. Lochner did a good presentation. I think they have the capabilities. KSA, he wasn't real familiar with maybe the projects we had, but I have worked with KSA in other dealings in other cities and universities, and they always did a great job. So, I mean, it's kind of y'all's decision of who you think might would be the top 2 are Lochner and KSA, in my opinion.
Mr. City Manager.
I really don't have a whole lot new to add on to what Jerry said. You know, the 4 firms, again, 2 of them mostly do building inspections and fire inspections. I've worked with Bureau Veritas before in another city. They've done some work here, and they're really good. They're a big firm with a lot of expertise in a lot of areas. But again, their main emphasis is building inspections, that sort of work. Doesn't mean that's all they know how to do, obviously, but that's their main emphasis. Similarly, BCCS has a really good reputation. I've not ever worked with them. They have a really good reputation in the building codes, building enforcement. But most of what they do is building inspections as well, as you could kind of tell that from the presentations and from the materials they gave you. And that doesn't mean you disqualify them. They have people that can do the other, but that's their main emphasis. The other 2 firms, of course, are engineering firms, and so they do have a lot more experience in that type of thing. I think both of them are capable. I've worked with KSA in the past. In fact, 3 weeks ago, I mentioned to you, if you wanted to hire somebody right away, I was recommending KSA kind of off the cuff. And the reason for that was twofold. One was Mr. Leppert, who was here tonight, I've worked with him before on a troubled project, and he did a great job of jumping in there and taking over and fixing a lot of things that were broken. So that was appealing to me when I heard he was available. But again, I think either one of those firms is capable. The big thing with any of those companies, just like always when you do professional services, is who's going to actually do the work. Mr. Leppert was here tonight. He's presented as the project manager, but we don't know if he's going to be on the project 5 days a week or 1 day a month. That's something we'd have to find out later when we negotiated a contract with them. And that's true of all of them. Corey, I don't remember Corey's last name, from Tyler, he's presented as their project manager. He's an engineer. He's probably not going to be doing daily inspections. So I'd like to meet who really would be doing those daily inspections, or the 2 or 3 people, depending on what's going on. Some of that, of course, is still up in the air for us, because until we get the bids on the big project, we don't know if they'll have 2 crews working at a time, or 3 or 4 or 5. So that'll depend a lot on that too. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling, but the bottom line is, I think you've got 4 firms that can do the job, 2 firms that do this more often and have more experience as a firm. But bottom line, it comes down to who's going to do the real work, not just who's at the firm and who comes here, because some of these people you may ever see again, and some of you may not. As you'll recall, when we talked to AECOM 2 years ago, the people that made the presentations, not only did they not get really involved in the project, they don't even work for AECOM anymore. So you have to go down to who's really going to do the real work, not just the bosses, that don't really do much of anything. So that doesn't really help you much, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. So,
Mr. Frierson, do you have any more questions of Mr. Gardner?
Yeah, John, have you dealt with Lochner at all?
I have not. Lochner and BCCS I've never worked with one way or another.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like the fact that they did some research and some homework before coming. So the presentation was good, but I didn't know real world experience, if it was just a good presentation or if you.
I have no firsthand knowledge either way. As far as I know, they're a good, reputable company and do good work, but I don't know that firsthand.
Okay. So would you recommend either one of the 2, or are you?
I think, again, either one of those 2 would be good to negotiate with.
Okay.
Mr. Plata, you have any questions of either of the 2 people?
No.
Okay. I like the Lochner presentation. Again, Mr. Godwin's right. Who's going to actually do the work, I do not know. But I think they came more well prepared. They had studied some. And personally, I would favor them, and I would suggest that the city should, discuss things with them and describe the scope of work and then come back to us as to what their answers are. So if, we are not there yet, so my first question was, does the council want to proceed? So I take it the answer to that is yes, and if that is yes, then the next question is, Mr. Pickle, what is your choice?
If the gentleman from Mount Vernon is gonna be the one here,
Which one is the Mount?
which is with KSA.
His name was Rick.
Okay.
I just think that would be so much easier on everybody and cheaper, because we don't have to pay the travel, the overnight stays, things like that.
But can it not be negotiated?
That's the negotiator.
Yeah.
Right, any of that can be negotiated. The prices can be negotiated, who we get. I mean, we could say, if you wanted to do KSA, for example, we could say, this is the guy that's gonna be here 5 days a week, or else we don't want you. And I don't know what they'll say, because I don't know what his availability is.
Yeah, and I guess that's the question is, depending on if he's not available, then to me, it's either one of them. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint of if he's in Mount Vernon, he probably does spend some time in Paris anyway.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Frierson, your choice?
Well, I like Edwin's logic, and I guess you have to start at some point. I don't know, I have no experience with either one of them, so kind of splitting hairs on there and trust John's judgment. But I do agree, if that's where you start the negotiations with the project manager, and you could get this gentleman, then I'd probably lean that way.
Well, and let me just say, I don't want to give one firm an unfair advantage because I dealt with one inspector and he was really good.
Right.
So that may not be fair to Lochner. Just because I haven't dealt with them, they may be way better. I just haven't had that opportunity. So I don't want to oversell that. Again, I think you
No.
can.
Can you go with two of them? Discuss with
You
two
could,
of
but
them?
I'd rather not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Answer that
Well,
question.
for me, another side of that was, I did like the East Texas and Northeast Texas contracts that KSA actually did list, and,
Dr. Clifford?
I could go with Lochner or KSA, either one.
Mr. Pilata?
I could go with either one, but, the logic, if we could get one that's a little cheaper, but if you can get Lochner, either one is all right with me.
All right, Mr. Jenkins?
If I had to choose, I'd choose Lochner.
I like the Lochner presentation.
I like the Lochner presentation, but I also want to try somebody else because my previous experience with KSA was they may have done a good job, but they really should have asked our public works people and gotten them more involved when they were picking out the projects, which they really didn't meet with Tim and others as much as with the result that when it came down to it, we had to modify it. Now, some modifications may have been made by the Citizens Committee too, but really the major modifications came after we met with the Public Works people, and they said, well, some of these lines that they're talking about, they're not as important as others. So I think involvement of our own people in it is important, and that's why I would favor Lochner. But whoever wants to make a motion over here is,
I make the motion that we accept Lochner.
okay, I'll second that.
Lochner?
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
But I think we should, as second thing should be, we should ask the city manager to negotiate and bring it back as to the finer details of
Yeah,
it
that's-
before we.
Right, and I was just going to clarify, that's what the motion is,
To
I
enter
hope.
into
Yeah, well,
negotiations.
let's make the second motion that, so that there's no ifs and buts about it. I'll make that motion that gives the city manager the power to discuss, go in discussions with Lochner and come back to the council with details of,
I thought that's what he has to do anyway.
okay, well, whatever it is.
There's a motion, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Where did he go?
We took one. He went that way.
Oh, did he go to get them? Okay, well, I guess we'll wait.
They didn't leave?
One group did leave.
I thought they left.
One guy over there left in trouble.
Might be calling them.
You have to call him.
Yeah. He's back.
I think
left?
I think they're not.
Yeah, they got some leave.
Hmm? They're not here?
Some of them are, but I guess the rest of them left.
Yeah, I think so, okay. All right, so we're done with item number 4. Item number 5 is discuss city manager's proposed budget for fiscal year 2015-16 and provide direction to the staff. Mr. Pickle, oh, well, he's not here, Mr. Fryer, sir.
He took a timeout.
Oh, and he's back.
I'm here.
But Mr. Fryer, you go ahead and start, we'll go
No,
back.
my only thoughts in looking through is, and I've shared these with John as well, I feel very strongly that we need to address compensation this year in whatever way, shape, or form we can. And so, as we've heard from both Chief Wright and Chief Hunley, that is where my main concern is making sure that we promote stability and accountability in both those departments. So I don't know that I have necessarily any specific questions at this point, but those are the areas that I want to see some more progress this year.
Mr. Pickle, you're on.
What was the question?
The question is in the budget.
Oh, it doesn't matter, just start talking. See what happens.
Any particular?
I would, well, I've got several things, but I'd like to hear from everybody else first.
Okay, all right. Mr. Gulati, good?
We need to coordinate this thing better.
Dr. Clifford?
I've attempted to look through this budget, but oh my gosh, it's 100+ pages. It's amazing. I did have a few questions, and I'm sure you can help me with. I noticed we have over $1 million in delinquent taxes, and we're estimating we're only going to collect 10% of that. Is that kind of typical? I suspect it is, but.
That is typical. In fact, our collectible rate is actually, unfortunately, higher than the state average. State average is about 94%. We collect more than that most years. So
Really?
it's a shame, but it's the way the world is.
I had a question on page 4. Forgive me for nitpicky stuff, but miscellaneous revenue. That just, I don't know what that is in recreation fees. What-
225,000?
Yeah, 235,000. What is that?
Gene, give us some examples of that. Because I can't think of one off the top of my head.
We might get, for example, a rebate from TML on our insurance. It's not a guarantee, but it happens on a fairly regular basis. And it might be $50,000 or something like that. And we might have several things like that. We might have a settlement on a lawsuit, that brings us some reimbursement.
Okay.
And they don't really fit a normal category, so we just kind of lump them all together.
Okay. I also see a lot of travel expenses for a lot of different departments, even some that, I don't know, a lot of them weren't even used, and then some of them used more, but just, some of these departments, I was just wondering what the travel expenses were for.
Typically, it's for training, specific training. Kind of depends on the department. Fire, police, it's going to almost always be for specific training. For some of the department heads, it's training or attendance at a professional conference. For example, I usually go to the Texas City Management Association. Well, about every other year, I'll go to the TCMA. Other groups have their professional organizations as well. But typically it's school or specific training. Building inspections, we send them to school so they can get additional certifications or additional knowledge, for example. Gene does continuing education to keep his CPA so he continues to be competent at his job, things like that. In several cases, you may have noticed that I've cut back on some of those.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things you kind of hate to do in a way. It's like, oh, they haven't really used this money for the last 2 years, so let's punish them by taking it away from them. But I don't want to keep budgeting it if we're not using it either. So I've kind of tried to be judicious with that. And
I saw you adjusted some of them, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, one more, sorry, just a lot of things, it's a whole lot in this budget. Gene, on accounting and auditing consultants, $15,900, what's that for?
We have the arbitrage calculations that are done every year by First Southwest Securities, arbitrage on our bond issues, which is required for us to do. That's part of it. We have a consultant on wage and hour issues is another. And see, there are a couple of more. I think there are 4 in total. Those are the two that pop in my
Okay,
head,
that's-
yeah, first.
On the fire department budget, what's the difference in the 00 and the 01? You know, the first few were 00, and there's a personnel cost on the dash 00 on the whole columns, and then the second column, there's another personnel cost for the
Yeah.
01.
The 01 is code enforcement, and the 00 is the regular fire
Okay,
department.
okay, thank you. All right. There's a grant, I was just wondering what the grant was in community development, the $100,000 grant match. What is that?
That's gonna include, some of the sidewalk, program that we do each summer downtown, and something else I'm forgetting.
I thought that was probably the sidewalks, but it's
And
That's my-
some trail.
Yeah, there's a trail,
trail.
that's right, there's two things. Yeah, the matching for the trail extension down here, the matching for the trail, the West Paris Trail, and then also the sidewalk.
Okay.
Matching.
And there's another grant match under,
Airport.
Parks Recreation, that's for $174,000. What's that?
That's the West Paris Trail there.
That's the West Paris Trail, okay, the other one is the sidewalks then?
Right.
Okay, okay.
And there's also another one you may have seen under Airport, and that's the match for the new hangar out at Coxfield.
Okay, well, let's see.
There'd be a small one too under the police department for their auto theft task force as well.
And this is a big one. What's the buildings for $650,000?
Water and sewer.
Yeah, it's over here in the water and sewer. Again, just for my information.
What page are you on, Dr.
I'm on
Cliff?
page 4 of water and sewer fund.
Yeah, it's on page number 4. It says number 9, item number
Yeah.
9, building, 2013 and 14, 00, increase to 650,000, 2015, 16.
On page
This right here.
4?
Yeah, page 4 of the water and sewer, of the water and sewer, the second tab.
Okay, the buildings is of course a summary group, and that includes improvements to the facilities out there. So it's not buying a building, it's all the stuff that Doug Smith Harris has talked about the last couple of times he's met with you. Improvements to the wastewater plant, improvements to the sewer plant, so forth and so on. So that's what those are. So those will reference back into the line of budgets that you see later on.
Okay, forgive me for all these things. That may be most, it's not that I understand all this, but I'm doing my best. So that's all I have.
That's it?
Mr. Plata?
I have a question about raises for police in general. Say taxes, you're looking at raising taxes, but we're just looking around $3,000, right? It's just, that's a base figure. And you were at big time adamant last year about, well, if you give certain people raise, then next year they're gonna get another raise and they'll be double raising. So what are you gonna do this year? The people that got raised last year, they gonna get another raise this year?
Well, everybody in the police department didn't get a raise last year.
I understand that.
So, those that did, if you were to approve this, and I've not recommended any particular dollar amount to you, but I know $3,000 was mentioned by somebody, back several meetings ago, then yeah, they would get 2 raises. And the difference is, the raises that were given last year in the police department was to create an 8th step, or not an 8th step in the non-civil service, within the police department was folks that had been in positions for a long period of time and had not gotten raises in most cases for many, many years. The purpose of the $3,000 or $2,000 or whatever the council ends up doing, and I sure hope something because they really need it and they really deserve it, is they're underpaid, frankly, for what they do. They have been for a while. And we've nursed that along, and we've apologized to them and told them, you know, please don't leave and keep doing a good job. And then more specifically, it goes back to the numbers that Chief Hunley provided to you a couple or 3 months ago. The cost of losing these people is not just we lose good people and just we get younger and less experienced officers and we're training the rest of Northeast Texas to have good police officers. but there's a financial cost because of the overtime and the training and the equipment and so forth and so on. So that's what the $3,000 is about. So that's a longer answer than you wanted, but they're for two different purposes. And so I absolutely agree with that. And I wasn't going to do this, but by way of a quick editorial comment, 2 weeks ago I celebrated my 29th year in this business. And although I didn't prepare all those budgets in 29 years, this is the first time in 29 years I have ever asked for a tax increase in any jurisdiction I've ever worked in. I told Mr. Firestone back several months ago, I will never ask you for a tax increase, and I lied. But this is the first time ever. So that's how strongly I feel like it's time to help our people out. That I'm doing to do that for the first time in 29 years.
And I'm with you. I think they do need it, but I'm going by your own words. I don't feel comfortable giving that much raise to people that got some last year, and the ones that didn't, they're still not. You're gonna compensate them, but it's still not gonna be fair.
I understand. And since I editorialized, let me say, I understand, I put you folks in a difficult situation. I appreciate that, and we'll certainly respect whatever comes out of this, but I just felt the need to say that.
Anything else?
No.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have none.
Ms. Lancaster?
Well, I was wondering in the demolition, page 3, capital projects, are we not putting anything in the budget for demolition during that year? Page 3, under capital projects. Yeah.
Oh, it's not considered a capital project, it's an operating.
Okay, well,
expense.
it was listed in here, so, and when I saw 0, I had a question.
Yeah, what had happened before, if you remember, the council had set aside $400,000 just for that. We moved that money at that time over to the capital projects fund so we could track it, make sure that we spent it just for that. And we've spent that money now, and now it's just shifting back to the regular operating budget over in the general fund.
What amount is put in for demolition?
I am looking for that now. It is under sanitation, whatever page that's on. For some reason, I can't find it.
Yeah, that's in that new fund.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's why I can't, I'm looking in the wrong
45.
place.
Where is it?
Page 30. House demolition shows to be $60,000. Related sanitation cost, for the landfill related to that, is also in there.
So that's on page 3 under the landfill.
Yeah.
Okay. Under the landfill. Well, I'm just saying, even though we've torn an awful lot down, we've got a lot more to go.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to say I very much support a raise for the police department.
All right, my turn. First of all, I want to make a few comments. The first comment is I want to thank the city manager for giving us the opportunity. We asked him to have presentations done ahead of time, and he did that, so I really appreciate it. Number 2, I want to thank Gene Anderson tremendously, because it is not an easy task to keep the city in black instead of red, and I think he has worked very hard over the years to keep it that way. Then I have some general comments, and then I have some specific comments. My general comments are that I'm opposed to any kind of tax increase for the city. Number 2, I'm also opposed to tax increase at the cost of giving raise to anyone. I think if we are going to increase taxes, it should be for services, not for salaries. Having said that, I completely support, I think all the city staff works very hard, whether it's Public Works, whether it's EMTs, whether it's the police department or fire department. And I think in their own way, they all need a raise. But also, we must understand that it is very hard with the amount of money that we have and the taxes that we have to provide a raise to everyone at the same time. Now, I'm not saying I have a perfect solution to it, but some of my specific comments are that I want to take the COLA that has been listed out completely from the budget. And what I want to do is I want to allow the police officers to get their $3,000 raise. I don't know wherever the $3,000 number came. I would favor to give the police officers the $3,000 raise. That will make us spend about $212,000. We had about 282 or 279. I may be off by numbers a little bit on the COLA, but out of that, so if the $3,000 raise is given to the police officers, it will cost us somewhere about $212,000, and Jean can correct my numbers once we get done, once I've said it. I think the EMTs wanted their step increases, and that will cost about $54,000 or some odd amount thereof. And if we take the COLA out completely, we can give the raise to the police officers, the amount that they wanted, and we can give the steps to the EMTs. That leaves the fire department and I think the rest of the city employees. And I think we need to make a commitment to them that next year the raise would be given to the fire department and the remainder of the city employees as our budget permits. So those are my specific comments. Then there are a few things that I have some questions and concerns about in the budget, which I will mention. The first thing is on page number 3, and that is on the subtotal amounts on the permits and the fines. In 2013 and 14, the permit fees that we received were $108,000, and in 2014-15, we made $121,000. I'm not sure how we came up with the 2015-16 number of $123,000. Jean can trace back and see if there is a percentage amount that goes up every year. And so if that goes up, we should have another $12,000, $14,000 out of that in the year 2015-16. If that is not the case, obviously Jean can correct me over there. The second thing is similarly, the fines used to be $365 and they went to $376, and we have reduced the fines to $357 for the year 15-16, and I'm not sure why the fines went down, but I have a little bit concern about that as to if the fines have gone up every year, why are the fines being counted down? So if we were to count those numbers and potentially create a little graph, we would have an extra $20,000, $30,000 here. Then my one other question that I had was on the travel expenses. I think the travel expenses are, people need to learn and people need to do their job, so travel expenses are important, but I think I would favor an arbitrary chopping off of 10% of everyone's travel expenses. Cut it down and see whatever can be done in that. Number 4 is on the credit card service fee. I wanted to find out, people who pay their bills, like I pay my bill on the credit card, am I charged or not charged? Because I should be charged for credit card fees. If the city pays that percentage, I'm not sure, I haven't seen whether I'm being charged or not, but hopefully I'm being charged for because there is no reason for the city. I mean, I get points for using my credit card. So the city should get benefit out of it. So there should be a collection of credit card fees by the city. It says $3,000, but it shows as an expense. So I'm not sure whether it's taken or not taken, or how is it calculated, and is it out of hundreds of thousands of bills that are paid, is the only collection on credit card fees only $3,000 for the entire year?
What page are we on?
We are on page 13. Tab 1, page 13.
That is,
But Gene, if you don't have an exact answer,
Yeah.
you can come back. You don't have to.
Wouldn't that be if you paid fines on the credit card for municipal, because this is under municipal court?
Yeah, it's the
And
fee for.
your water bill and stuff that you pay with your credit card would be under your water, under the water.
But what
and-
I'm saying in general, are we paying?
Yes, you're
Yeah.
charged.
Okay, that's what I was asking. So that's the.
You obviously haven't gotten any calls about that,
The
people
vendor,
complaining.
the vendor is the one
Okay.
that pays for the credit card fees, not the
Okay,
owner of the credit
all
card.
right. So that's one of them. Then, the other thing that I wanted was that as important as I feel that the sewer and water treatment plant and project is, that at some point it needs to be done, I'm a little bit opposed to committing $350,000 for it right now without having heard from anybody else other than one company. Yes, they were very nice to us. They came and did some free pro bono work, and I understand all of that. But I'd like to see if that opportunity was given to others, what do they come back at? And what I felt was the most of the things, I must say that I'm not an expert, and experts may answer this, but what I saw was not a whole lot different from what Hayter Engineering had already done 10 years or 5 years ago, or their last study. So I'm not sure what they are charging $350,000 for. When half the work was already done by Hayter, and he's still part of their project, why is it costing us so much to redo that same engineering that has been done? So I don't have a problem approving it in the budget, but I have a serious problem approving the company without at least getting just like a presentation we did today from some other companies, that they should come and present to us that, what their thoughts are. Again, just my opinion, the council can decide which way. But I would slash that right now as an approved fund, but not to that specific company. And then the other thing is, even amongst ourselves, as much as we think we need a new sewer treatment plant, some members have concerns whether there truly is a need, or is there rejuvenation needed. Now, I may not agree with Mr. Plata at all that, because I do think, I like to change my car off and on. And so, you do want newer things at different points.
Just don't have that many cars to change to.
So at some point, yes, as much as there may be a life left in the plant, but we are here to determine, hopefully, long-term future of the city, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. So we've got to start thinking about it, whether it gets done this year or not, but I still think we need to think about it. So that is my comment on that. Now, I'm going to come to some small things which may aggravate people, but I can't help it. Page number 18 has an item listed 100203, food humans. What is food humans? And what is it for?
18?
It may be a small expense, but I'm just curious to know what is food humans? I understand it, food for human consumption, but what is it?
On page 18, you said?
Page 18.
Yes, sir.
Right here.
18.
That's in the fire department. That's for an occasional meal for some special event, or for during a training period.
All right.
They do the fire
That's
academy.
fine.
They have food.
I
at the
was
fire
just
academy,
curious
so
as to what that was.
It's food for humans.
Okay.
The Dalmatians don't get to eat. They just
No.
Nope.
That's a different line item.
Oh, okay.
Then, coming back to under tab landfill, page number 2, page number 2 of landfill. There is a budget for $1,062,294. It says increase, decrease. There was nothing in 2013-14, so I want a little clarification. Why is there nothing listed under 2013-14? That's question number 1.
In the past, the sanitation costs were in the general fund, and the manager requested that we set up a separate fund for that, and so
Yeah,
the
so
historical
it was all
cost.
in there, it's just on a different page. We talked about that last year. when we
Yeah,
realized
I
it was-
may just not have remembered it, so, okay, so that's number one question. And number two is, did we look at if we were, when we were discussing recycling, how much does it cost, if we were to do the recycling project, how much money do we actually save on the landfill cost? Is it significant? We were coming up with some numbers and calculations. Did we actually come up with those numbers, or have we not done that yet?
We came up with some really rough numbers. They were not like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay.
We're talking about $4,000 or $5,000.
Okay, so it was not a great amount.
Not a- no.
Okay. All right, and then I have one other tab marked, and I've forgotten why I marked it, so I'm going to let Mr. Pickle go. And then when I remember it, I'll come back to that tab.
You want to go through answers at all yet, or?
Let Mr. Pickle say it, and then.
Okay. Well, first off, Gene done a great job on this, on the budget. But like all accountants, Gene underestimates income and overestimates expenses, I think, I hope. However, I'm comfortable with it. What I'm not comfortable with is a 1 cent increase in our taxes, nor am I comfortable with doing this certificate of obligation that's in this budget as well. One thing that I think somebody did touch on, but just touched on it slightly, that you need to consider is that on the raises that you're discussing for the police department, to me, the police department and the fire department go hand in hand. So you're talking about really $3,000 for the police department and $3,000 for the fire department, which would add up to roughly $330,000. And then if you take what I call the fringe, which is the insurance, the benefits, if you roll that all out, that's another $110,000. So you're at roughly $440,000. Now, how do we pay for that without raising our taxes? Well, if you'll notice, the last page of your budget, Gene has the beginning balance of $9,703,000 beginning for next year. For our general fund reserve requirements, we only have $8.9 million. So there roughly $800,000 there. That's a difference than what we need. Now, and then Gene also gives me, when I bug him about it, a cash and investments consolidated cash balance that I get at least quarterly from him. And based on the numbers that Gene has prepared in past budgets and the actual, there's about $200,000 that we come up over and above the budget for the year. So what I would like to see us do is there are 5 budget capital expenditure items that I would like for us to take out of the operating budget and pull that money, in a sense you could say out of our reserves, but it's not out of our reserves, it's out of monies that are above and beyond the balances that we need to meet our obligations. Those would be $140,000 for police, which is vehicles. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying take that money out of our general fund, but not as a budgeted item, as a capital item. $28,000 for parks, $12,500 for parks, $84,570 for the garage, and $178,000 for an ambulance. That adds up to $443,000, which is almost dollar for dollar the amount that we're talking about spending if we give not only the COLAs, leave everything else in here, do the $3,000 per policeman, $3,000 per fireman. Then if we In addition to that, we take out the $185,000 that we have budgeted for the certificates of obligation. That gives us about $188,000 in cushion. If we want to do this certificates of obligation, I've got some real concerns with what we're talking about doing on that. And so I don't think that that's a good use of our monies at this time. So what I'd like to see us do is keep the tax, our property tax at the same rate it is. Give the police their $3,000 a month. Give the fire department or not $3,000 a month. They're $3,000 a year. They'd like $3,000 a month. Give the fire department their $3,000 a year. And those funds again would come from our reserves, which we've got more than enough to meet our obligations. And it would have no impact on the citizens other than keeping our police force and our fire departments intact.
Anyone has comments? Okay, Mr. Frierson?
Yeah, well, I like what I'm hearing, and I just am curious because obviously I don't think anybody wants their taxes raised, and you know, if there's a way around that, that's certainly something that I think is very appealing. I guess on first blush out of that, John, is that doable from you from an operational standpoint with the Capitol?
Well, it's doable. My concern would be, and the reason I would recommend against it, and I always hate to be argumentative the night I'm having my evaluation done, but you know, those are recurring expenses, even though those are capital expenses. So this time next year, we're not going to be able to take money from that surplus to pay for additional police cars or to pay for an additional ambulance or some of those other things.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because you've got $185,000 that you're going to pull out for the certificates of obligation, and on a consistent basis, we bring in roughly $200,000 more a year than we actually budget. So that's $388,000. So we're off $50,000.
Okay. Well, again, you know, for what it's worth, I still, and I think most folks in my business and Gene's business are going to recommend, you know, using that kind of money for a recurring expense. Typically, you're going to use those kinds of monies for a one-time thing. For example, last year the council approved $180,000 for one-time road improvements in 3 of our districts. One you approved here just a month or two ago was the 200 and something thousand. Well, just last week you approved the contract for the trail. You know, it's a one-time expense, or at least not every year. So you know, you can certainly do whatever if the numbers add up. I just really worry and I caution against balancing your budget just 1 year at a time. You know, we're trying to get away from that. Of course, you've been a proponent of that, Mr. Pickle, to try to plan things out years ahead of time. And so I don't want us to get away from doing that and kind of kicking the can down the road. And y'all hear that expression too many times, I know. But so, yeah, I mean, bottom line, I'm not going to, you know, kick up a fuss or anything, but I would recommend against that.
And I would agree with your statement as far as, is this isn't something that I would want to do if this only occurred one time. But this, I mean, again, the $185,000 is already in the budget for the COs. And on a consistent basis, we pulled out we've increased our revenues more than we budgeted by over $200,000 at a minimum. And so I'm saying that maybe that it's not that we're taking it out of our reserves, it's just that we didn't have them budgeted in the first place when they could have been just efficiently budgeted in.
How many year window is that when you say consistently?
2011, 12, 13, 14, and now 15. Projected in 15.
I guess for me, my thing on something like that is we're talking about life safety people, and if we provide a better place to live, a safer place to live, whether it's fire or police, whatever the case may be, it's reasonable to make an assumption that more people or businesses would want to be here because of that quality of life, and therefore you get more taxable value. I mean, I realize that may be a conceptual stretch, but fundamentally it works. I don't know, you said you were against a tax increase, but how
Yeah.
does this sound to you?
I agree with Edwin to some extent, and I disagree to some extent because I do want to listen to the city manager on this. He has more experience than I do. But what I would say is I think Edwin's ideas are good. I think if we can afford to give the raise to the police and the fire at the same time, I'm perfectly fine. I would still like to eliminate the COLA. I have no problem. If we can't afford to do the certificate of obligation now, so be it. But then I would like to have the EMTs get what they want as well. And then in that case, I'd say take the COLA off, take the certificate of obligation off, still cut the travel expenses, and make sure that our budget fits the 3,000 that the police want, the 3,000 that the fire department wants, add the EMTs what they want, and we promise the remainder of the city employees that next year we will consider them more than others.
My only concern about that is that's kind of kicking the can down the road too for the guys in Public Works, and well, you'll get it next year, and I have some heartburn about that personally because that would be hard to go to work.
The only thing I can say, beggars can't be choosers. We don't have the money. If we had the money, I'd love to give them the raise too.
Well, I mean, I think this should be about compromise to see if there is a way. I mean, if there's some,
If there is a way of, I'm absolutely against raising the taxes for the purpose of salaries. So if you can figure a way out of keeping the salaries, the taxes the same, taking the COLA out, doing what Edwin wants to do, adding EMTs, and if we can add Public Works to it.
Can I ask one question, just out of curiosity? How many EMTs are we talking about? And I sort of just thought.
You have
those were
22
under-
full-time equivalents.
I sort of
and
thought those might be in the fire department's numbers. I just didn't.
They're
I
not in
just
the
sort of
fire
assumed,
department's
and I know
number.
what assuming does.
Yeah.
Yeah, now there within this budget, there is part of what EMS requested, so it's not a complete net increase of $50,000 either. There's some is in there.
And there's some COLA, in a sense, that's built into the.
But the
police
COLA
and
cost
fire
is costing
as well.
$280,000. And I think when we are giving a general raise to, particularly if we are going to give it to all city employees, I don't see the need of doing a COLA at this time at all.
but wait, what? What was that last part?
The last part was, if we are going to do a general increase in everybody's salaries,
Okay.
and we are not going to raise the taxes, I do not see the reason for giving COLA at this point. It's not for retired employees, it's for current employees. And it's costing $289,000 if we just take it out and distribute it.
Okay, but isn't that the raise you were talking about was?
Yeah, I'm confused now. You're saying if we're giving everybody a raise.
No, I'm talking about when Mr. Frierson was saying, don't forget Public Works right now.
No, I use that as an example. I meant library, Public Works. I meant
Okay.
across the board. I
Okay.
didn't mean.
All right.
Okay.
No, I thought
Specific.
that you were specifically talking
Right.
about it. I'm just opposed to giving
I understand.
cost of living allowance. I'm not for it. But I'm for
Yeah.
not raising the taxes, using some of Edwin's suggestions, which I think are good, using some of your suggestions, keeping the tax rate what it is, and coming back with the numbers and seeing that if it works.
Okay. You want my answers to a couple of the other questions from
Yes,
earlier?
please,
too?
please.
Yeah, and these are kind of small things in the scheme of things, but way back on the revenues, you talked about permits and fines. And the way we calculate those, guess those, is not based on any percentage increase from year to year. Specifically on permits, the biggest thing is we've had a decrease in commercial remodels, and so we're not expecting to have another $40,000 a year. We're not even going to get the $40,000 this year, doesn't look like. So that's the reason for that. There's a couple other ones. So those totals you mentioned are actually sums of a bunch of other numbers. And under fines, the big difference there under fines was court fines and cost. We had projected $294 this year. Looks like we're probably not going to quite hit that, so we don't want to overdo that. Part of that is being conservative. I think that's smart to be conservative with your revenues and your expenditures both. If you start having city managers and finance directors or budget directors, whatever you have in your municipality, starts you go over on expenditures and under on revenues, and you should probably shoot them or fire them. So that's part of our job. But I don't think we do that excessively. I think Gene's done a very responsible job of that and reasonable job of that. So we're not just throwing in low numbers and tanking it on purpose, just to be clear. The travel thing, certainly, we can do that, and if that's what the council wants to do, we will. That won't generate a great deal of money, but I understand sometimes that's kind of a symbol thing too. that, you need to trade this for that. And in some places, we've actually tried to increase travel and training, especially in public safety, but we can certainly look at that where places we haven't already reduced it. Certainly, the COs, I'd love to see us have some money to spend on drainage and parks. We've talked about that for the last 3 years since I've been here. If we want to defer that, certainly that's something that's very doable. Obviously, we haven't done that.
And don't misunderstand me. I would be more than happy if we want to take it to a vote of the citizens.
Sure.
To do it, because then they're going to vote to raise their taxes.
Well, I don't think, I'm assuming here, I don't think any of y'all would not like to have $2.5 million to help drainage and parks. There's probably nobody in town that wouldn't like that. But it's easier said than done. I understand that. We have limited resources. For what it's worth, again, I respect everybody's opinion, and obviously when you vote, I'll respect that. I do feel an obligation to say that I have 327.4 employees. And for me, I can, just as I can't recommend kind of those using one-time money or two-time money for multi-year expenses. I also can't recommend giving raises to just some employees. I think that that's not a message that I want to send. And again, I'm not going to criticize you if you do it. In fact, if you give half of the employees $3,000 raise, I'm going to say thank you. But just on the record, I do want to say that I think there's a better way to do that because all of our employees are important. I just hope you'll keep that in mind. And I know you know that. I'm not trying to argue that you think some of them are not important. And I understand public safety is high profile and very important. And I hope they get big raises, but I hope everybody gets one too. So,
John, is
You
there?
did it last year.
what's that?
You did it last year.
Did what last year?
You get raises to people, some people didn't get it.
That's right. We didn't have enough money for everybody.
You just said you didn't like to do that. You just did it last year. Just don't say that.
No, let me clarify. There's a difference between saying if you work for the police department, you get a $3,000 raise, and if you work for Public Works, you get nothing. That did not happen last year. Last year, it was based on longevity in those positions. There were only 28 people out of over 300 that got that, and that was unanimously approved by the city council. So not the same thing at all. When I'm talking about some employees got them and some people didn't, I'm okay with that if it's based on merit or something else. But based on where you work, you're saying you're more important, or I know you're not intending to say that, but it can give the impression that this employee is more important than that employee, this group of employees. So if we're talking about only people in police, fire, and EMS getting raises, and nobody in public works, nobody in the library, nobody in utilities getting raises, I don't agree with that. And that's just my opinion, and I have a problem. And that's not the same thing we did last year at all. We did not base it on department last year. We based it on longevity within a single position.
I'm still burned up about that because you gave it to people that are not leaving the department. They're not gonna leave. The people that have been here 20 years or better in the department, they're not gonna leave. And if they do, you may have one or a straggler. The ones that are leaving are young ones, the ones you didn't give it to. That's what I still have a gripe about that.
I understand.
Can I just go for the three who haven't spoken again? We have all spoken. You want to say something, Ed?
I'm opposed to raising taxes for sure, and I really want to give a raise to the police department and any of the other public workers that we can afford to, if we can find a way to swing it.
Mr. Jenkins, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I like what Mr. Clifford just said. I want to try to get them the raises and everything, but I remember back when I was talking about you about Woodall, was that budgeted in there, anything with the parks?
About what?
With Woodall.
Woodall Field.
Was that anything budgeted in there for them?
The ball field.
For improving the field?
He's asking if the certificate of obligation was covering, correct me if I'm wrong, was covering the Woodall Field, or the Woodall Field is a separate expense compared to?
No, that's it within the COs. Of course, we didn't determine, the council, because we didn't get into it, what the money would actually be spent for, but that is where the park improvements were planned, yes. So without that, there's not the improvements to any of the parks.
But now what we were showed was only 2 parks that were talked about.
Right, we talked about 2 parks, and again,
Yeah.
if you were gonna move forward, that was when you would say this 2 parks or these 3 parks or whatever. That was just something because it was in the park plan that the council adopted in 2013.
I heard Woodall Field's not a city park. Woodall Field's not a city, that's private, that's Optimus run.
Okay.
Ms.
Right.
Lancaster, any further comments?
I like very much what Dr. Clifford said.
Can you please?
Oh, sorry. I like very much what Dr. Clifford said about, giving the raise for the police and anyone else that we possibly can, and absolutely not raise the taxes.
So can we maybe go one point at a time so that we are able to give some direction? If that's okay? So you can go say what you want to say.
Well, the first thing I was gonna say was I think John would appreciate some direction, because I think.
Yeah. So let's start one thing at a point. Let's say, does everyone agree that they don't want to raise the taxes? Mr. Frierson, do I see a nod?
I'm open
This
to-
way or this way?
I don't think that's a line in the sand I'm prepared to draw today, no.
Okay, so all others, let's go. Mr. Pickle, you want to raise the taxes
No.
or no? Mr. Frierson,
Not
undecided.
if we don't have to.
Okay, but not decided yet.
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I prefer not to.
No.
No.
No. So first direction is come back with the budget without raising the taxes. Point number 2, let's start police department, since that's been the hot seat of discussion.
Well, not just police, fire.
Whatever you want to say.
Public, whatever that word is.
Yeah, you just say
Fire
what
and
you want.
safety.
Well, can I jump in first? And let's make the second question, if I may, because it'll help me kind of formulate a plan to present to you next Tuesday, the COs. I'm also getting the sense that at least a majority of you are okay with deleting the COs.
Yeah. I'll start with that. It was my suggestion, I'll take it back. I'm not for the CO.
You're not for that.
Not for the CO right now.
Not at this time. Okay.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have to agree with
Mr. Jenkins?
No,
Okay,
not for the CO.
For CEO,
yeah.
I actually don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, well, he's for the CO, we can just go down.
It sounds like it probably will help us do more of the things that we want to do.
So,
To do away with. I mean,
2.
tonight.
CO or no
No
CO?
CO.
By vote of the citizens.
Vote by the citizens.
by vote to the citizens, but I'm agreeing basically with what y'all are saying.
Okay, so there are at least 4 of us who want a CO by the citizens, and there are a couple who are for the vote, for the CO without the citizens.
Well, no, Beanie just said he was for the citizens.
For the citizens.
I prefer
Okay, so
with citizens.
if we are going to do a CO, we'll do it with the
Okay.
citizens' consent.
So we've got that money to use for operating
Yeah,
costs.
so,
Okay,
well, we have not gone there. We have just said that no CO
right.
without the citizens'
But that
consent.
throws 185,000 into, that's budget.
Yeah, whatever we use it for. Next, since I made the suggestion of 10% travel, does anyone have anything? I'll say slash the travel budget by 10%. Let's go. You want to slash?
Problem with cutting it.
I don't have a problem with that either.
It could.
Sounds fine with me.
How much money is it?
How much money
It's
is
not
that?
a whole lot, but it's just cutting a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's worthwhile. We'll do that.
Okay, all right.
Those that have already been cut.
That's,
Okay, I'm opposed to doing COLA for the entire, employees.
Not at this time. Cut it.
I agree.
Not doing it or doing
Not
it?
doing it.
Not doing it.
I prefer to do it.
Okay,
I don't think we do a COLA at this time.
I think so, yes.
which one? Do it?
Yes, absolutely.
do it.
Okay, so 4 against 3, it's not do it.
I understand.
Okay.
Well, let me-
Can I ask a question? I really would like to hear some of your responses to what the point Mr. Godwin raised, not because of Mr. Godwin's point, just because I happen to have a little sticking point with that you're essentially making a choice here. You've decided that there is now a hierarchy. I mean, you can't.
I'm just asking for a vote. It's my opinion, but that's only you can vote against
Well,
it.
I hope everybody understands that
Yeah.
point. It's not anything other than,
Whatever which way he wants to.
well, no, I was only going to say, I'm not in response to that. My only comment was kind of anticipating that the next thing is going to be public safety, which I'm assuming all or most of you are in favor of.
Yes.
If with these other things, if I have $17,000 left over or $81,000 left over, is it okay to give those to the other employees? I was assuming, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, you just don't want to do that if we don't have the money, but if we have the money, is it okay to look at those other
I
departments as
personally have
well?
no problem with that.
Okay, because I'd love to have the flexibility, I don't know what I'll bring you, but I'll bring you something back.
Yeah, I have no problem. If you have money left over, I have no problem.
Okay.
Okay, to give it forward?
Giving, if he has money left, to give something in COLA, it's not a problem as there's money left over.
And what
But
I'd like-
not as a line item, I'm not going to favor a line item of 280.
And what I'd like to do, if we have limited funds, which we're certainly going to, frankly, is to start at the bottom, because we got folks making not very much money at all. And I'd like to start with them, so that's what I'll bring you back, just so you know ahead of time, if that's okay.
You know, that's fine, but I'll just say one thing. If you lose three off, I'm not counting on the fact, I'm not trying to say that, you know, if my water line is stuck, there's a problem obviously too, like for everybody else. But the thing is, if we lose a firefighter or if we lose a police officer, and you've spent $60,000, guess what? The 180 that you lose covers the entire amount of money that you've just paid for their raise.
I understand.
So and losing we have lost 3 officers. And so it's not a question that I like the police officers more than the public works officers. It's just, these are factual things. Did you say something? I do like you. But I have no problem with giving, if there's leftover, I have no personal. Let's go over, does anyone have a problem giving leftovers?
Leftover, that's fine.
No, I think this should be a compromise and trade-offs.
Right.
So,
I not only think we should do it, but I will guarantee you by next Tuesday, the money will have been found.
Uh-oh.
Okay, but I mean, now that's a mean, but it's all right.
No.
Okay, anyway.
'Cause I've already
The thing
found
is, that's what
54,000.
The direction is whatever he finds, he finds.
Yep.
Now, Mr. Pickle, you had some other suggestions on vehicles. I'll disagree with that suggestion because as much as people are important, their vehicles are equally important. If the vehicle can't get them there, then.
And the money is there, and the money is there on on a reoccurring basis. And if we're saying we have to have $8.9 million that we need, and we've got $9.5 million, it's the easy way out. Yes, it's the easy way out, but I'm saying on a yearly basis, this occurs.
But Mr. Pickle, if I've been on council with you for 4 years now. We've gone over this multiple times. We've had that 9 number for years, and you've always disagreed with me when I've asked you that can we lower it? And you said, no, absolutely not, we'll not lower it. So I want to know why a change today.
No. I wanted to know, okay, the truth being is that I wanted it always to be, in my opinion, 3 months worth of operating numbers.
We have more than that.
We got lots more than that,
Yes.
but I didn't want to be
But you
greedy.
vote when
I didn't
we-
want to argue all that other stuff. Because
But Mr. Pickle, when we voted for it, I was proposing 3 months. You voted for 5 months.
well,
That was your vote.
hey, I'm a politician. We can change our mind anytime we want to.
It's all
There's
right.
my, I mean,
I agree with you 100% that I think we can have less reserves.
Yeah.
I don't have.
yeah, and
But I'm
I
just saying
don't
that-
really like 5, but
But I think we can still keep the reserves the way they are, and I think we can still give what we want to give, and I think Mr. Godwin can figure some way out around it.
Tuesday.
I think you can too.
All right. Any other specific points that we want to give them directions to? Let me go one person at a time so that we don't miss anything. Mr. Pickle?
No.
Mr. Frierson?
good luck.
Please.
No,
Dr.
I
Clifford? Mr. Pilata?
I can't think of
Mr. Jenkins? All right. So you have some directions. Are these
do.
enough or you need some more
No, I
directions?
think that's very good, and I don't like to be a whiner, so for whatever raises whoever gets, I thank you now. I appreciate the fact that you're considering that and you take it seriously, so thank you.
All right. Can we move beyond this now, or do we still have something more to discuss on this? All right. Are you people happy? Yes.
They ain't got it
no?
yet.
Well.
Yeah.
And I did fight for you, by the way. As much as you thought I was not going to. All right. Item number 6 is convene into executive session pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code consultation with attorney to receive legal advice from city attorney about pending or contemplated litigation and/or matters in which the duty of an attorney to the client under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter as follows. J.S. Baking LLC, Skinner Bakery Tax Abatement Agreement, section number 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, disciplines, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear complaints of charge against an officer or employee as follows. Annual evaluation of the city manager, the municipal judge, and the city attorney. And if I can make request of the council, the respected judge has been sitting there for a long time. If we can do his evaluation first before the others, because they have to stay one way or another. So the time now is 6:36.
I just want, if anybody's
seven.
disgruntled
Seven.
about anything we've said
Oh,
here,
sorry, 7.
I don't want them to slash my tires on my black Suburban that's parked over there, okay?
Everybody knows that you have a red Toyota. The council has given directions to the city manager to collect the appropriate taxes from the Skinner Industries. All right, that brings us to the conclusion of this. Item number 8.
So move.
So, yeah.
All
He
right,
said.
I did. Okay.
second, all in favor? Thank you.